standards. But you gotta change that tolerance. And that's why I was going through niggas like crazy. Can't fuck with it. Nope, don't like it. Don't like this. Oh, this outweigh this. Got to go. New nigga me, please.
What's good, YouTube? How's everyone doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another reaction video. If you're new here for the first time, my name is TMR, and since you clicked on this video, you might as well subscribe to this YouTube channel and make sure you click that notification bell. Leave your comments down below and enjoy this reaction video. What's good, YouTube? What's good, TMR gang? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to yet another live reaction video. You have just entered the Break Room Chronicles. Well, breaks are normally 15 minutes, but y'all over here, we break for 1 damn hour. Shouts out to the 2 Live crew. Chat, I see you. By far the best damn chat on YouTube, honey. You better ask someone about this 2 Live crew. Oh, and shouts out to the Bush gang. Hey, Bush watchers. What it do, Bush gang? Shouts out to the Replay gang. Hey, Replay gang. Thanks so much for stopping by. Make sure you let us know in the bottom of the video that you're Replay gang in this thing. So myself and the 2 Live crew definitely know it's real. Hey, y'all, what's good? Thank y'all so much for stopping what you were doing and meet me over here in the damn break room, y'all. Oh, my goodness gracious. Y'all see the title. Y'all see the thumbnail, okay? We definitely got some conversations to get into today. If you have not noticed, this is a member and mods only chat function. We haven't done one of these in a while. And a lot of times, you guys, I'm so sorry, but sometimes I do forget to turn that feature on because that's one of the incentives of being a part of the 2 Live crew, the Break Room Buddies over here, okay? So if you want to chat, you would have to either be a mod or a member today. But if you just want to sit in the bushes and listen, you're more than welcome to do that as well too. But if you have thoughts and opinions, unfortunately, in order to chat amongst us, you would have to be a part of the 2 Live crew. Okay. All right. So thank y'all again so much for stopping what you were doing. Happy Thursday to each and every one of y'all. Hope you guys are feeling good and doing great. And like I said, we have a lot of topics to cover today. And some of the things you guys may be familiar with, some of you are not. That's the whole reason of a reaction, right? Because a lot of times a reaction is to bring awareness of situations or conversations that you guys might not be aware of, okay? So I hope you guys definitely enjoy the show. So let's get started. All right, let's get started. First thing I want to talk about is something that a lot of people have been talking about in the past couple of weeks here on the internet, and that is the Marvin McCray and the Drea McCray situation. If you're not familiar, Drea McCray is a woman on Facebook, primarily on Facebook, where she had a business where she sold paparazzi jewelry, okay? She has a very, very large following on Facebook for her. She has like 2 pages. She has a Facebook page, I guess a personal Facebook page, and then she has one for her business. Well, on May 23rd of this year, her husband tried to take his life and was rushed to the hospital. And from there on, there has been countless videos of people going back, watching past videos on live streams that she's taped and uploaded to the internet to basically see the type of woman that she is. And a lot of people are very much focused on the police report that was filed the day that Marvin was found pretty much unconscious in a shed in the back of their house, okay? So there's been a couple channels here on YouTube that have, been talking about the Drea McCray situation and the Von McCray situation. I touched on it a little bit, but the more I started watching, it was like I was going deeper and deeper and deeper into a rabbit hole of chaos, right? If you have taken the time, there's a lot of Facebook groups. I think it's like 3 Facebook groups who are dedicated to this story. And the whole theme of this awareness is justice for Von, okay? Justice for Von. Well, there was an update that was given, I believe it was yesterday. Von McCray is in a hospital in Arizona. I think he's in Tucson, if I'm not mistaken. And his biological mother, there's been, conversations that Drea, which is Von's wife, was refusing family to see him, but they were able to get to finally see him. Von's father was able to see Von's first, the father and the stepmother. And then here recently, Letitia, which is Von's biological mother, was able to travel to Arizona to see her son. And it was information put out yesterday that Von is no longer on a ventilator. He's breathing on his own. And he also opened his eyes to his mother. Okay. So that's a great update, because Von has actually been in a coma since May 23rd. Okay. And a lot of people were holding out hope for Von, and some others was just like, yeah, I don't know, it doesn't look too good. So it sounds like Von may be turning the corner. So again, if you are interested in the story and you've been watching it, you guys just keep praying, because he definitely has a very long road to travel. Okay. If this is true and he's turning the corner, he's no longer breathing via ventilator and he's breathing on his own, that is a very, very good sign. But obviously, considering all the trauma his body has taken in the last 2 years, when Drea and her family started this Dr. CB diet, and she started giving her family all these herbs, tonics, and teas, that definitely wasn't obviously conducive to Von, because it started Von having seizures and other health issues. So he definitely is going to need a lot of rehabilitation, not just physically, but obviously mentally as well too. Okay. But the whole reason why I am bringing this conversation up is something that I found it to be a little bit more interesting in the developing news of Von opening his eyes and being off the ventilator. So, like I said, there have been a lot of people that have been covering this story. And one in particular is the lady here on the right, Molly Golightly. She is one of the main persons that's been covering this story. She is basically taking credit for Von's biological mother, Letitia, being able to get to Arizona to see her son, because Molly started bringing awareness to the story about 3 weeks ago. And she started, once she got in contact with the family, she was able to start collecting money to, they were sending money to a Cash App. And Von's biological mother, Letitia, was able to raise enough money to travel to Arizona. And also, there's also been word that she was able to obtain an attorney too. So the lady on the left is Sharrell's World. If you guys are not familiar, Sharrell World here on YouTube, she has over 300,000 subscribers. Sharrell World does a lot of the celebrity gossip. Okay, she does a lot of reality TV show gossip. Okay, so a couple days ago, Sharrell World, I think it was last Friday, it was her very first time bringing the whole Drea McCray and Von McCray story to her audience. Okay, her audience wasn't, some obviously, maybe some of them was aware of it, but she decided to feature it on her channel. I believe that was last Friday. Then just a couple of days ago, Sharrell invited Molly Golightly onto her platform to basically give more details about the story, because Sharrell had some details, but she didn't have as many, obviously, as Molly. Okay. So Molly, like I said, she got involved in the story about 3 weeks ago. And she was also, she has another, like a counterpart. I believe his name is Justice for All. And then she also was dealing with a lady, another channel here called Without a Crystal Ball. Okay. So these people have been talking about this story. And the other day, Sharrell invited Molly onto her platform to basically bring awareness, to give more clarification of the details that's going on, because, you know, Molly has a lot of the details. So due to her research and her being able to talk to the family. So yesterday, you guys, it exploded on the internet. Okay. These two ladies basically got into it because Molly decided she had updated information, and the updated information was about Letitia coming on to her platform to let everybody know the updates are fine. Well, yesterday, Sharrell was live, and Sharrell was live with two other people on her panel. So really quick, let me show you the day that, let me show you guys really quickly the day that Molly came on for the first time. So let me show you that video really quick. I'm just going to show you just a little bit so you guys can kind of be aware of what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the day that Molly came on for the first time to Sharrell's channel. Sharrell actually had, you know, another agenda. Okay, it was to talk about Wendy Williams, the situation with Wendy Williams refusing to see her son, and then it was supposed to be planned that Molly was going to come on later in the story, but she actually came right in the middle of Sharrell covering the Wendy Williams topic, and basically she stopped her conversation on Wendy Williams and allowed Molly to have the platform. Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys hear a little bit of what Molly was saying that day.
Her act really crazy, and she's saying the video that I showed is that he was having seizures. She chose to try to fix the seizures herself at home, make that make sense, and then we got all the way up until she went to the hospital. She refused to let the family, the mother, her children, see Marvin, that's his name. Marvin. And
that's actually her husband.
So that's where we got up to. Now I'm bringing Molly on. Thank you so much, Molly, for coming on.
Oh, of course.
To update us on all kind of stuff and what's going on. I wanted to show the picture really quickly. This is them in happier times when they didn't look like two crackheads. Sorry, where they were at a decent weight. And this story is just taking over. The reason I moved it up is because once I did that video, so many people started reaching out, wanting to talk about it. Molly, so I got a slew of questions for you. I see your partner's backstage. I'm going to bring him up in a minute. So I want to... all
right. So that was the day that she came on. Even this same, on this very same episode, Sharrell took call-ins, okay? So then the next day, this was like maybe 3 days ago. Then the day after that, Sharrell went live again. Okay, she went live again, but this time she had different people on her platform. Okay, she did not have Molly on there. She had Nosy Ho, if you guys are familiar with Nosy Ho, and then she also had some lady named Amber. I'm not really familiar with her, but she has a channel as well too. Okay, so let me show you guys really quick. Let me pull that video up really quick.
The family seeing him and maybe even getting, I don't know. Let's go over this police report. That's what I wanted to talk about today. So they released a police report. We both read it. The police report is alarming to you, Amber. Why?
Hold on just a second.
While we're waiting for Amber, can you tell me who made the report?
The cops. This came from the cops. What
No,
happened at
who reported it?
who reported the
Yeah,
say it again.
who went to the police to make the report? His family?
No, this is from the police when they came on the scene the night he tried to take his life. So according to her, he hung himself.
Okay, so on this day, she had brought 2 other people on here. And in my opinion, I personally feel Molly felt some way about that. Again, you guys, this is just my thought and opinion. Molly seen that people were talking about the Von McCray situation. This police report that everybody keep mentioning is a very big focal point to a lot of people who's watching this story, because they felt like the police report that was given by Drea, because she was the one on the scene, to the UMA police department, everybody feel like the police report was very evasive. It wasn't enough information in the police report. So a lot of people there's many channels that have went over this police report like with a fine-tooth comb. Okay. So that was this day. This was, what day was this? I believe this was actually the day before yesterday. So this might've been Tuesday. So then when that happened, then Sharrell went live again yesterday. And while she was live, Molly comes into her chat and basically told her to get off of live because she was getting ready to go live and she wanted everybody to come to her live because she has updates. Okay. She has updates and she wanted everybody to come to her live. Molly also texted Sharrell's husband and told him the same thing. Hey, can you tell her to get off live? Because I have updates and everybody needs to hear them. So my thing was like, and Sharrell's was as well. Who are you to tell another content creator to stop their show so you can start a show? Now, again, obviously, Molly Golightly's channel and Sharrell World's channel are 2 different platforms. They're not even joining, okay? YouTube is a very big platform. Anybody can talk about anything they want to at any time, okay? So the audacity, in my opinion, of Molly Golightly asking Sharrell to end her live so she can go live was way out of line. Like in my opinion, as a content creator, she definitely overstepped her boundaries, okay? You said Molly thinks because she's in contact with Von's mom, everybody should flock to her. Well, here's the thing, Kendall. Everybody can flock to her eventually, right? Because like if she, Molly has 70,000 subscribers, 70,000 plus. Sharrell Worlds has over 300,000, right? So it's obvious everybody that's subscribed to Sharrell is not subscribed to Molly and vice versa, right? Right. People get YouTube in real life effed up. Exactly, Miss True Redbone. That is so true. So my thing is, I feel like here's the problem. I think there's been something lost in translation. The whole objective, I thought, for people to be talking about this story was to bring light to Von's situation, right? Because a lot of people now, after he, committed the S thing, or tried to commit the S thing, a lot of people felt like there needed to be some justice. But my thing is, all the people now that feel like there needs to be justice are the same people that was watching all these videos of this lady in the past couple of years, because they started this diet by like 2 years ago, okay? All of these people, in my opinion, or a vast majority of these people, are the ones who was watching the countless hours of videos when she was actually doing these videos. And there was no alarms turned on then. Now, all of a sudden, this man tries to unalive himself and goes to now there's a whole bunch of awareness, justice. One thing I will say is this. Do I feel like Molly is being genuine? I think initially she was, right? But I think once Molly started seeing all the subscribers that she was gaining, you know, doing live streams with 5,000 people in your chat at one time, I guess that could do something to a lot of people's ego, especially when you're not used to that. See, Sharrell going live and for 3 and 4 and 5,000 people in her live is nothing because she's been doing this for years. She's been doing this for a long time. So that's nothing to her, right? And I think what it is a lot of people are losing focus on the real subject. You know, unfortunately for Von's situation didn't necessarily go viral, right? Because mainstream media wasn't talking about it. It was just a conversation here on YouTube and Facebook, right? And I think people became too intrusive in the situation, and the more they got involved and the more people started coming to these different channels and giving them a lot of views, I think, you know, Molly says it's not about clicks and views. Well, it has to be. Because why would you want Sharrell to end her show for people to come to your show? If you got something to say, push the go live button, do your show, give your information, end your live stream, and people will either catch it right when it's live or they'll be a part of the replay game. It's just that simple. Just as long as people get the information. Me personally, her sole purpose is to put the information out there. When people get the information, it's really up to the people, right? It's really up to the people. So then conversations started becoming conversation yesterday where they're basically saying this is a color thing, okay? So Molly wanted to interject and say, no, this has nothing to do with color. This has to do with the fact that a Marine, in her opinion, was done wrong and unjustly, and we need to get justice for him. But a lot of the people that are watching all this information unfold based off all the information that has came out, a lot of people have came to the assumption that this is more, this could be a color thing because this is a Black man. And, you know, a lot of people feel like the police, when they came and took the report, they weren't as thorough with the report. A lot of people felt like the police report that was taken, this situation should have been, it should have been filed as a criminal case instead of not a criminal case. But I think what people are missing is it can only be a criminal case until the situation happens one way or the other. Von still being alive, not necessarily a crime yet because he's still alive. Him not being alive could potentially be a crime. Or once he, like now that they say he's off the ventilator, if he gets to the point where he can start talking, then maybe it could be considered a crime then. If he can actually tell about the events that happened the day out of his mouth, that happened the day that he tried to allegedly unalive himself. I'm not sure, you know, but I really felt like Molly, in my opinion, overstepped her boundaries. Sharrell's World was, you know, willing enough to bring her onto her platform, which Sharrell's platform is much bigger, to talk about the story. And I think Molly has got in her head, again, this is just my opinion, that she is the only one that can really give insight to the story because she has went in deep. When I say went in deep, meaning she's in deep with Von's side of the family. Like she's in communication with the biological mother, with the biological father, the stepmother, and she's in constant communication with these people versus a lot of these other content creators that talk about the story are not. Okay. So then last night, Molly did a video herself. Okay. So let's pull up her video where she called herself clapping back at Sharrell's World and also Without a Crystal Ball. Okay. So we're going to take just a quick peek at what Molly had to say. And then we're going to go on to the next conversation. Uh-oh.
Molly Golightly is ready for bed, but I have to say something just before I go to bed. Where do I start? Actually, I'm just going to tell you the truth. So I just found out the truth. And this does involve Katie, and this does involve Sharrell. So what happened was, I was informed by Marvin's family that they don't want to deal with Katie. Actually had nothing to do with Sharrell. And because I was on Justin's panel and I said, a certain YouTuber, Katie switched and turned that around. Very smart, very slick. I didn't realize how evil you actually can be. So you got her heated and you got me heated at the same time. And you're up there on Facebook saying, you don't want to mess with Sharrell because Sharrell goes hard. Well, guess what? I said what I said and I meant it, but now I'm finding out the truth. So, Katie, I have a bunch of text messages from Marvin's family. Okay, you don't want these out. You don't want these out. And I know you don't. So I don't know why you can't just accept it. That this family, you must have done or said something to them that made them feel a certain way. Now, Sharrell, don't know you, don't care to know you. I'm not here to kiss anybody's ass. But what I did hear you say is that I just want the views. Okay, well, this is the difference between you and me. You're talking about Wendy Williams and her state of mind at the lowest point of her life. I'm helping a family who needed help.
Right. Initially, once you got in contact with the family, then you started helping the family. But essentially, you, in my opinion, Molly was acting as the same way that she's trying to depict Sharrell. Like she's tried to shade Sharrell by talking about Wendy at her lowest point, right? Well, obviously Vaughn was at his lowest point, and until she actually got in deep with the family, yours was just a conversation piece as well, too. Like all your information was assumptions until you actually got to talk to the family. So in my opinion, Molly wasn't no different than Sharrell in the beginning. You were covering a story because you found interest in it, and you were trying to get fact. You were doing a lot of fact finding, right? Just like Sharrell does. Sharrell talks about Wendy Williams and all other topics that she talks about because she's, her audience have an interest in that, right? So in my opinion, Molly was no different than Sharrell.
I was contacted by the people of Facebook. So weeks ago is when I was asking for help. The help that I got was from actually Katie and Justin and Elle. More importantly, the groups from Facebook. Now, I know you don't like to do a lot of research. That's just what I'm hearing. I guess you find other ways to spend your time.
Now, see, I feel like this, now she's shading Sharrell. Like Sharrell doesn't like to do a lot of research. This woman has well over 300,000 people on her channel, on her platform. Here's the thing. This was the problem. It's starting to get personal. Now, everybody is getting away from the fact that justice for Vaughn, and now y'all making it personal, right? So that's when it sounds like it's about clicks and views, when you start personally attacking people who is the same as you. Sharrell is a content creator. Without a Crystal Ball is a content creator. Molly Golightly and all these other people are all content creators. So what people do on their prospective platforms is their business. Now, again, she has the right. Molly's entitled to her opinion, but I think in a way, Molly So if you guys don't know, Molly she goes into like certain stories, like the Summer Wells story. She gets real deep into certain tragedy type stories that's going on in the world with people, and she goes in with that. Right, she goes pretty hard. Okay, Molly literally goes in the trenches. Like, she going to these people's houses, she talking to their families. Like, she goes really hard, and kudos to her, you know. And then other content creators choose to go other ways. They choose to do fact finding, research. They pulling up old videos. You know, a lot of content creators are knocking on the doors of the topic of a conversation. A lot of content creators don't want to do that. They want to just stay behind the scenes and just do their commentary, right? But so the point that Molly was trying to make in this video is that more so for Without a Crystal Ball than Sharrell, but she basically wanted Without a Crystal Ball to know that the family don't want to talk to you, so stop reaching out to them and let me handle the family. So I think Molly feels like she has an upper hand because the family, in her opinion, or from her mouth, the family is more partial to her than they are Without a Crystal Ball. Okay. So if you guys want to continue watching this, it's about 8 minutes long, 8 more minutes. Y'all can go over and finish watching it. But I just wanted to give you guys a brief overall. Okay, let me get back to the chat. Monica, sometimes people pop up in your feed and you just click to see what they're talking about. Okay, you just talking about, yeah, right, Kendall. Yes. That's the problem. We're making it personal. Exactly. That's in my opinion, that's the problem. And I notice a lot of these content creators do that. You know, at the end of the day, none of us are reporters. None of us have journalism degrees. Maybe some of these content creators do have journalism degrees, but a lot of us don't, right? We're just regular everyday people who find interest in certain topics that's going around on social media, and we start watching it. We develop an interest, and so we start when you develop an interest, you do what? You do more research, right? And you become like a subject matter expert, right? And I think Molly, in a sense, is trying to become like, she feels like she's a subject matter expert on this situation. And you know, if I mean, kudos to her that the family trust her, but I just hope she doesn't betray their trust. Okay. Because when money gets involved, a lot of changes. Now, Molly wanted to make, like, she said in her video that she has donated money to the family. And she also said that she took money out of her savings for her son a car. And I was like, okay, sis, like, I didn't understand why she said that. Like, why are you telling us where your money is coming from? If you donated money, we don't care that you took it from your savings. I think in a way she was trying to pull on the heartstrings of the people so they can be like, oh my God, this poor woman is taking her money from her savings. Well, let me send her the money to replace the money that she took out of her savings. Now, just imagine if 10 people did that. She's more than likely tripled the money that she allegedly says she took out of her savings. You know, it's just funny how people try to pull on the empathy of others. And me personally, I don't get into that. You know, my thing is, like, when I say you guys cash app the host, or, you know, or tip the host or whatever, if you want to tip the host, you definitely can do that. But if you don't, I'm still going to come here every day or every other day, period. The funny thing is, a lot of content creators report off each other's content. It's not like they're all researching the stories for themselves anyway. Yeah, that's true too, Rapping. That's definitely true. A lot of people do that. But a lot of times, I think when, like what you're saying, Rapping, I think that comes from just other content creators giving their thoughts and opinions on, like, they have a different perspective based off what they're seeing and hearing on another content creator's platform. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. Because once again, like I said, most of us are not journalists. We don't have degrees in journalism. We're just regular people with thoughts and opinions. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. That's why YouTube is that. YouTube, you know, you can be you on YouTube. And some of us, we do understand that some of us have different experiences and can talk about certain conversations based off their own experience. Okay. All right, you guys. So again, leave your thoughts and comments down below if you're catching this in the replay. If you have opinions one way or the other about the first story we just covered, okay? Make sure you leave your thoughts and opinions down below, all right? So now we're going to move on to the next conversation, and that's Strong Mommy Christie, okay? So yesterday, or maybe it was the day before yesterday, the actual police report for Strong Mommy Christie's situation with Rod that happened back in January of this year was released. Okay. Now, obviously somebody had access to it and they were able to put it on the internet. And I know you guys are always saying, you know, we've even said, we just react to the content, right? Well, or we react to the actual channel. So let me say this, although Chrissy is not the one that uploaded her police report, she has spoke on this situation, right? So Chrissy has already spoke on the situation when it was brought out to the attention of the internet initially, back the early part of this year. Chrissy basically said that there was no DV situation with her and Rod. Okay, if you guys remember, Chrissy came out, and when she came out to basically tell us about her, you know, her moving, because she was moving once again. If y'all remember, Chrissy had a missing tooth. Okay, she came on with a mask on to try to cover up the missing tooth, and a lot of people's assumption was, does your missing tooth have anything to do with the fact that Rod was arrested on January the 14th for a family DV situation in your home? Okay, and Chrissy said no. She said she bit down on a burrito, or not a burrito, a Dorito. Okay, so the reason why people are discussing this now is because Chrissy actually have spoke on this situation, and she told the people that it had nothing to do with her. She didn't go into detail, nor did she have to, because that's her business. But she definitely did say she didn't have anything to do with it. Then Chrissy came on and she did a video where she went to the house that she was moving out of to show the people that somebody broke into her house. Okay, somebody busted her window, broke into her house. They didn't necessarily take anything, but somebody busted a back window. Okay, and that whole thing was that people were invading on her privacy, this, that, and the other. Okay. And then Chrissy, there was some stuff that happened in between, but I'm just going to kind of paraphrase and jump around. Then the last thing that we heard about Rod and Chrissy, the cousin's been quiet. They all trying to come up with a defense for her. Oh, you think so, Rapid? So once then Chrissy came out maybe about a month or so ago with a me and Rod broke up video. She said that her and Rod are not in the right place, and Rod is not where she needs him to be. She basically also, hey, Vaughn, she basically also said that, you know, the information that people are saying about her and Rod's situation is not true. Okay. And the other day, the report came out. I believe Marissa Starr is the one that broke it, if I'm not mistaken. And it said, Marissa read the report in its entirety, and basically it said the police report was taken from because Chrissy was the one they interviewed. So the police came to Chrissy's house, and there obviously was a DV situation. Chrissy explained to the police what happened. Rod was definitely the aggressor, okay? Because Rod was on the phone. I guess there was an argument between Chrissy and Rod. And all this is coming from the report, you guys. There was an argument between Chrissy and Rod. Rod was on the phone with a cousin. I don't know if it was male or female. The cousin was saying something to Chrissy that was disrespectful. Chrissy asked Rod to give her the phone. So I'm assuming so she could cuss Rod out, or cuss the cousin out. Rod refuses to give Chrissy the phone. And the next thing you know, he jumps up and slams her up against the wall. Chrissy's head goes into the wall. This is all in the report. And Chrissy, when the police came, Chrissy complained of back and head pain. And the officer observed pieces of paint chips in Chrissy's hair. So that would only assume, unless there the paint on Christie's wall is extremely cheap, and just assumed that Rod pushed that girl hard enough for her head to bust up against the wall. Okay. Now, there's one other piece. How the police actually responded to the house was, initially there was a 911 hang-up call. So a lot of times when someone calls 911 and the call hangs up, 911 will attempt to call back. If they don't get any answer, they will send an officer to that location. Okay. Now, we know Chrissy, we don't know who called. I don't know if it was Chrissy that called, Rod that called, or one of the children. It wasn't said in the report. It was just said a 911 hang-up call. And considering the neighborhood that Chrissy lived in at the time, it was a very, very nice neighborhood. So obviously, the police are going to hurry up and run out there, okay, to see what's going on. Okay. Yeah, so y'all, the hood break room, Chrissy walked in, caught him talking to the new bae, tried to snatch the phone, and it jumped off from here. The hood breakdown. Okay, that could be what happened. Again, I'm just telling you what she said. She said, and the reporter said he was talking to a cousin. Okay, that's what it said. So, but you guys, Chrissy, initially when Chrissy came on here onto her platform to talk on it, she said none of that happened. She's basically denied any DV situation between her and Rod. Now, if you guys are familiar with this situation, y'all know that there was some information that came out last year. I think it was it 2021 or 2020? That Rod had history. Hey, Newton. Hey, Jessica. Rod had history of putting his hands on women. Okay, there. He even had a name. The internet gave him the name as Baebay. Okay. And people were forewarning Christie, hey, Christie, you might want to reconsider, because the information that came out about his history of DV was very recent. Okay. It was very recent. It wasn't like it happened 15 years ago. It happened within the last 5 years. Okay. So it's very recent information. And a lot of people were like, Chrissy, you might want to reconsider, because, obviously a lot of people say that because one woman obviously don't want to see another woman involved with a character like that. And then also, because she has children and you don't want that type of man up around your kids. Well, Chrissy obviously decided to throw caution to the wind, and January the 14th thing blew up. Now, me personally, I don't know what goes on in Chrissy's house. Obviously, I don't have no way of knowing that, but we definitely know that happened that day, and I'm just going to say this to you guys, and this is just my very honest opinion. We have watched Chrissy on the internet have several relationships. Okay. And, not saying that Chrissy has to get out here and spill her guts, but at this point, when Chrissy decided to say, no, that isn't true, knowing that for some odd reason, her information, because it's public information, always comes to the internet. I don't know why Chrissy didn't take the advantage at that time to admit what was going on. And I think the reason why she didn't, because obviously she continued to carry on with Rod in a relationship, right? Now, is Rod the one that made the decision to leave her, or did she make the decision to leave Rod? I guess the only person that could tell that story is either Chrissy or Rod. Me personally, I would want to hear from Rod mouth. I don't necessarily want to hear the reason from Chrissy, because I don't think Chrissy would be truthful, right? Because we know Chrissy typically likes to paint the picture very different, okay? So, I just personally think that, considering what I have seen with this girl on the internet, I think Chrissy does take situations, and she don't take them very seriously, especially after going through what she went through with Bam. When Bam came into her home and was taking pictures of her house, unaware of her, putting out all type of information about what was going on in her house to the internet. Me personally, if I was Christy, I would have been very reluctant to get into yet another situation with somebody so soon. but she did. Very within the same year as that Bam situation, boom, here come Rod. If you guys remember when Chrissy was taking on the persona of Stalo Omega, y'all remember those videos? It wasn't the very first video she did. It was like the second one she did, where she was in the bathtub with a man. Well, that man now we know was Rod. Then we didn't know who he was. All we seen was some dreads. But now we know that was actually Rod. That was the same year, just a few months after the Bam situation. Just a few months, not 6 months, a year later, child, within the same damn year. Okay. So, you know, as women, unfortunately, sometimes we do make bad decisions, but you know, when you continuously keep making the same decision over and over, that's bad. That's called insanity. Okay. We definitely will give you your bag. You know, okay, you know, but that situation could have turned out to be totally different. In my opinion, if he was brazen enough to do that to her that time, there's no telling how many other times Rod pushed her, put his hands on her. Because I'm just not gonna believe that was the very first time. Y'all get to tussling and arguing and fighting over a phone. Yeah, I don't think that was the first time. Again, that's alleged. I don't know. But if he was able to do that one time, I think he's done it before. And just this time, phone calls were made. And in previous times, phone calls weren't made. You said, but it's a catch-22 because if Bam my head to the wall and then come on here and really tell truth, exposing could have turned even worse. Yeah, that's true, Lisa. I mean, like I said, she doesn't have to. Hey, Pearl, she doesn't necessarily. Yeah, he did muster in a Q&A. He did when he was like, "Where are the ladies?" When you talking about that, when the ladies at when he that one, I don't remember the Q&A. Y'all don't remember. Yeah, Lisa, that could be true. I mean, at the end of the day, Chrissy handled the situation where she wants to handle it. Like, you know, obviously the internet is looking at her with a raised eyebrow, but essentially, y'all, it's her life. You know, it's her life. It's obvious Chrissy don't really listen to people, you know, and not saying that she has to listen to the advice of the internet. No, she don't. But I think she needs to just look at her situation and look at her track record. Even if you don't want to listen to the people, sis, look at your track record. Like, do that. Make the same mistake over and over again. It's just great. Yeah. She deleted that lie quick. Rob was ready. Yes, he was, honey. She don't make good choices, but nobody don't question mothering just because she feed them well. Well, with love, I'm gonna be honest with you. We don't really see much of Chrissy's mothering with her children. We don't see as much mothering, like, you know, like Jasmine shows her mothering her kids. You don't really see that from Chrissy because Chrissy don't really show her kids. She shows them sporadically, you know. I mean, she will show you cooking for them and making plates and stuff like that. But as far as her mothering, I have no idea how that is because she does not show it for it to even be critiqued. I'm so sad for her children. She really made a series of bad decisions. Yeah, she did. She did. She, in my opinion, now, like I said, is Rod the one that called it quits, or was Chrissy the one that called it quits? Or is it really called quits? For all we know, he could still be over there. We don't know, you know. We don't know. We know once he got out, somebody bonded him out, and more than likely that somebody may have been Chrissy. And we know that from the videos, he was right back over there. She said it. She said he was back over there, and then he got arrested again for violation of a protective order. You know, DV is definitely not funny. No, it's not. And you know what? In no way, I don't want people to feel like I'm blaming Chrissy for being involved in a DV situation. And a lot of times, you guys, it's unfortunate. Even when people are shown red flags, people typically don't adhere to those red flags. So in no way am I blaming her for being in a DV situation, because it's not her fault, right? Because I'm pretty sure she didn't ask that man to push her up against the wall and bang her head up on that wall. I'm pretty sure she didn't ask for that. But when you don't adhere the red signs of situations, and you know, this type of stuff happens, you know, regardless if the internet knew about it or just the simple fact that it happened in the eye and the earshot of your children. That's the biggest thing. you know, and Chrissy doesn't have little bitty kids. She has big children. DB is funny. I was in some lives. People was making fun of her laughing about being beaten. Yeah, no, that definitely isn't funny in my opinion. But when you don't like a person, when people don't have compassion and empathy, then I mean, obviously you can't make them. It baffles to blame the victim because it's a lot of women and men don't know how to leave, especially when it's done often with threats. That's true, Lisa. In my opinion, that Von McCray situation, that Von and Drea McCray, I feel like in a way Von was a victim of DV because there are videos where Von was asking to leave. He wanted to leave. He wanted a break. He wasn't necessarily saying I'm gonna leave. I want to be divorced, but he was needing he wanted time away from Drea, and Drea wouldn't even give the man money to get away. Like she was controlling all his finances. But I blame him for that because as a man, he's supposed to be the leader of that house. You said I hate the internet because what goes on in her house is her business. Yes, it is definitely her business, but you know, but here's the thing: we do know a lot of women suffer in silence when it comes to DV, right? And in a way, you know, maybe to be quite honest with you, with love, if maybe a lot of these DV situations did go public, maybe it wouldn't be as many women going through these situations. You know, you're right. It definitely is her business. It's an unfortunate business, but it is her business. My cousin was unalived by her husband. This is just sad, Tasha. You never make fun of anyone you give good advice. Yeah, no, it's no need to make fun of her situation. I just want Chrissy to realize what's important, and that's her and those children. And I'm saying that just based off things that I've seen her do here on the internet. It just makes me feel like she does not make good decisions when it comes to her children. I'm not saying she don't love her kids. I'm hoping she does love her children, but action typically speaks louder than words. And I just feel like, you know, I'm not saying Chrissy needs to be perfect, but I think a lot of stuff that Chrissy gets herself into, she doesn't have to get herself into. Now, again, I don't know what type of man Rod is other than what came out in that police report and his previous police reports of other women that he's put in. So he has a history of doing that. You know, he has a history. There's a history, documented history that he has, and then he does it to Chrissy as well. So since it sounds like that's a pattern that he's not willing to change. And if I was Chrissy, I wouldn't keep being a cleanup woman for these men because when she's in need, there's nobody there to clean up for her. Chrissy's always left with the bag. You know, when she got with Rod, she gave that man a place to live, food in his belly, a bed to lay in, car to drive. You know, what did he give her? But D, in my opinion. Miss Yellowhawk says, everybody business is their own business. Chrissy ain't no better than anyone else we speak on. If we can speak on others, she can be in the lineup too. Yeah, that's true, Miss Yellowhawk. That's definitely true. Because I'm going to be honest with you. If just like we talked about Jazz, you know how it was rumored that Chris was over there putting his hands on Jasmine? Y'all, we talked about that. We talked about that. We didn't have any proof other than what Marcia Ming said and what Chrissy hinted. Other than that, Jasmine herself hasn't said it. We haven't actually physically seen. There hasn't been a police report done on it, right? But we talked about it. People still talk about it, that they think allegedly, because y'all remember the fist in or the prints in the refrigerator. We assumed that could have been somebody's hand. But even then, with the refrigerator dents, right, Vaughn? We don't know if those were dents made by Chris or Jasmine. Shit, we don't know. We don't know how that happened. We're just assuming. So, okay, I'm trying to. The bag is usually another chat. Okay. Sunshine, my mom didn't have the best English. My dad was the breadwinner. He would take her bank card and always say CPS would take us. She was scared. Oh, Nicole, I'm so sorry. Oh, man. But it's more than physical abuse, because I have a dear friend who was in a relationship and she went through abuse, but only difference was verbal abuse that broke her to pieces. Oh, Lisa, I'm sorry to hear that. Like I said, you guys, there are a lot of women that suffers in silence when it comes to DV situation. I don't know what, I don't know what the future holds for Chrissy. The only person that can predict that is her, right? Chrissy got to learn how to order her own steps. I don't know what can be held up for Chrissy, but when it comes, even when we talked about that situation with Jasmine and Chris, you guys, y'all know, I am very careful to talk about DV, with me being a person who was involved in the DV situation years ago. Sometimes, you guys, it's hard to tell people what you're going through. People who have never been in a DV situation don't understand that sometimes you make bad decisions and you end up staying with your abuser, right? When you are dealing with DV situation, there's a lot that goes into that. It's not just like, girl, you should know, you shouldn't have no man putting his hands on you, right? But you also got to understand the type of person it's being done to. A lot of people don't have the mental capacity as others, right? A lot of people are not built strong. Some people are built very weak. Maybe some people can come on here and portray themselves to be strong, but are very, very timid individuals. I personally feel like Chrissy comes on acting as if she's a very strong woman, but based off her decision making on a lot of stuff that she has made decisions on, I don't think she is. Okay. I'm just looking at y'all. Okay, you said Don said y'all just watched a good movie I never thought I would watch because it's a Western. Just came out 2021. However, if you get the pass, the storyline that's in your face, the movie is about the abuse of a woman. Okay, Don. Drop the name of the movie. You said how we are punished for it. It's called The Drover's Wife. Said back in the 1800s, we have been abused in every way imaginable. That's definitely true, sis. Right, LaToy? Yes, exactly. Monica says, well, we have to keep in mind that, especially back in the day, this country really did not allow women to be independent. It wasn't until the 60s it became illegal to not rent to a woman with kids. Wow, okay. So With Love says, I agree. I just hate when stuff hit the internet that the person chose not to share. The alleged abuse from is different because that's not known fact, but people talk about it. Right, With Love. We do understand Chrissy's situation. It was not in awareness to help a DV survivor, right? Chrissy's information coming out was basically to ridicule her, right? That's why it was put out. It wasn't like people were so concerned, okay? It was basically like, I told you so type deal thing. In my opinion, right? In my opinion, I think that's why it was put out. But once Chrissy knew that it was out and she spoke on it, Chrissy chose to go around it. And again, that's her choice. But I'm hoping, just like she chose to evade the conversation on the internet, I'm hoping she didn't choose to evade the conversation in her home. I'm hoping Chrissy chose her and those kids opposed to choosing him. Now, it sounds like she may have did chose him because he got bonded out and went back to her house, right? But I'm hoping when she came out here and did that video talking about they're no longer together, I'm hoping that she definitely is telling the truth. I'm hoping she let that man go on about his business, regardless if he chose to leave or she chose to make him leave. I hope for her sanity and her children's safety, he is gone. Okay? All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and switch conversations. Okay, that's enough about Chrissy. You're right, TMR. People did it just to make like, yeah, Jessica, I mean, we know how this internet works, right? We know how this thing work over here. All right, y'all, let's move around. Okay, let's move around. So we're going to go ahead and focus on our last story of conversation today. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the live. This is a member chat only live, member and mods. So you definitely have to be a member of mine to chat amongst us. If you want to do that, you can just click next to the subscribe button, the link to join the membership. Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about a video that went viral. Okay. A video that Bishop T.D. Jakes did on Father's Day. Okay. So a lot of people are, obviously it went viral. A lot of people have opinions about what Bishop T.D. Jakes said in his sermon on Father's Day about women. Okay, so basically what he said, we're going to listen to the part that went viral. But what Bishop T.D. Jakes stated in his sermon was that women are being raised to be men. Okay, and he said that basically men are shying away from women because women are not receptive to men as far as needing a man to take care of them. So men are choosing to turn their back on women because women are not presenting themselves to be in a position where a man would want you, because most men want to feel wanted, and women are wandering around acting as independent women, and they're not getting that. And I'm going to tell you where I disagree with that, okay? I'm going to tell you this, and then we're going to listen to the video. The reason why I disagree with T.D. Jakes saying that women are being raised to be men, it's, you know, and I'm assuming he's speaking to the Black woman. What about what the Black men are being raised? How are the Black men being raised? If Black women or women are being raised to be men, what are the Black boys being raised to be? It's like they always beating a Black woman down. Like nobody cares to protect us. You never hear people talking about a white woman, a Hispanic woman, a Chinese woman, an Indian woman. Never. But when it comes to a Black woman, we are always so disrespected in a man's eyes. Women are choosing to be independent because that's how we got to be. Because men are not choosing to be dependable. How can I depend on you when you're not even dependable? Men are choosing not to be fathers in the household. Men are choosing to leave women to be single mothers. So when that happens, obviously, you got to stand up and play the role of a man and a woman. You're forced to do that. All right, let's go ahead and pull up this video.
This breaks all sociological orders of the culture we're living in now, because we are raising up women to be men. And you are not applauded for your femininity. You are applauded in the contemporary society by how tough, rough, nasty, mean, aggressive, hateful, possessive you are, and you are climbing the corporate ladder, but we are losing our families. I know you can buy your own car. I know you can buy your own house, but until you create a need that I can pour into, I have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away. Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk back to me this morning.
So here's the thing. Even if I took the advice of Bishop T.D. Jakes, when is the man going to start providing? If I stand out, if I lower my standards and allow you, or let me say this, not stand, allow myself to be submissive, right? And allow the man to come in to take care of me, When is he coming to do that? Let's be real. Let's talk about the culture of today. Our culture is designed of a hookup culture. People really ain't talking marriage. They talking friends with benefits. And women are okay with that. And men are okay with saying, you know, I'm not really looking, I'm just looking for a friend. And that's in all age categories. Newton says, I literally had to learn how to let my husband lead, and I'm still learning. He better talk to those men folks and leave us alone. Exactly. Someone else said that Black men are not being raised. They're being loved. Exactly. And that's why with my sons, you guys, me have 3 Black boys or men. Okay. I'm very, very advocate on working for what you want. Okay. All my children got jobs at age 16. All of them. And I obviously took care of your needs, but their wants, they have to do that. They have to do that. At 16, things that you want, you got to work, save your money up for it. Period. But what I find is, it's always like women shouldn't be proud of their accomplishments. Why should I be proud of the fact that I am a CEO of a company? I mean, it's been put in position that women have to play both roles because these men are not doing. A lot of our Black men are in prison. How are they running families when they're locked up? Because they made bad decisions. So then us Black women are left out here to fend for ourselves. And I'm not trying to, bring Jasmine to, I'm just going to give her as an example. When Philip went to jail, she had to figure that stuff out. She had to become the man and the woman. There's a lot of Jasmines out here. But then you blame, and for example, when Philip went to jail, Jasmine's channel wasn't as big as it is now. She didn't even have 10,000 subscribers. Now the girl has 50,000. She had to hustle her ass off because her baby daddy was locked up and he wasn't the man of the family. Now we understand Philip had some extracurricular activities and why he went to jail. I'm just saying, y'all. Put that to the side just for a moment and just listen to what I'm saying. Not the circumstances, but what I'm saying. Even the circumstances that led that man to go to prison, she still was left out here to fend for herself. And she had to do shit by all means necessary to get it done. Now, am I saying she berate yourself, belittle yourself in order to do it? No, I don't think you should, but I mean, that's her. That's what she chose to do. So, here's the thing. I understand what he was saying, but Bishop T.D. Jakes needs to understand who his audience is, right? You need to understand who your audience is. You need to understand our culture of today. And not, this is in 1972. Like, this is a whole different generation. Whole different generation. Years ago, women weren't even able to vote, right? Now we have the right to vote, obviously. Women weren't CEOs of companies. Women weren't working on the construction site. You have more women that are you have more and more women now that are over-the-road truck drivers. Years ago, you didn't see that. It was mostly men out there on the road driving these semis. You'll see a whole lot more women doing it too. The gag is that her daddy didn't even seem to step in and help her. Can't rely on our men. Can't rely on our daddies. No one protects us. When you say the daddy, you talking about Jasmine's daddy? Jasmine's daddy may have. Jasmine just probably chose not to tell the people. Newton, are you talking about Jasmine's father? Is that what you're talking about? I sat around and waited for a man. I wouldn't have my own home, a nice bank account, and financial freedom. I did all this after my divorce and on my own. Right, Sunshine? Exactly. You guys got divorced for whatever those reasons were, and you were forced to make the decisions that you had to make in order to, right? You couldn't sit around and wait to be submissive to a man, or you would have disintegrated, right? You had to get out here and you had to get it by all means necessary. Like I said, this generation today, these kids are not being raised to be the man of the 1950s. So you can't expect that, okay, generational. Okay, yes, her dad. Okay. Generational. Yes, yeah. That's definitely true. So, like I said, you guys, I disagree with Bishop T.D. Jakes. And like I said, it's always the Black woman, in my opinion, that they want to be great and always say that, like as if Black women shouldn't feel self-sufficient. If Black women shouldn't feel accomplished for their accomplishments. Like, why do I have to dummy myself down or be submissive to stroke a man's ego? What about stroking my ego? How come if I come home and say, honey, I just got a promotion, why he can't big up me? Why he can't be happy for me? Why should I be afraid to come home to tell my husband that I'm making $100,000 more a year just to save his ego? Because I chose to make different decisions. Maybe I chose to go to college, further my education. Maybe I chose to fight for my raise at my job. And he chose not to do that. He chose to be submissive to his job and accept whatever like, why do I have to back myself down because you don't want to push yourself up? Let's be real. The way our economy is going, you need two income households. Years and years ago, one income household was sufficient. But the way inflation is now, one income households is damn near a thing of the past. Everybody got to hustle. Everybody got to hustle. Down to the kids. Everybody got to hustle. It's called choices. Everyone has to make them. Exactly, Pine. My dad took care of our family. That's the only kind of man I know. I can't believe these men these days. And that's another thing too. A lot of these men are not choosing to further their education from high school and to go to college, or maybe to get some type of trade where they can make a lot of money. And a lot of these men can't handling the household themselves because of the way the economy has been soaring. It's unfortunate, but me personally, I feel like in a relationship, we need to be a team, right? You got my back, I got yours. We don't live in a time where women can just rely on men, because a lot of these men are not making the money for the women to be able to rely on. It's obvious that there are women who are making more money than men. So, I don't know, you guys. I definitely feel like this is a different time, and I just hate the way, I just hate the way when it comes to Black women, how we are never protected. We are never exonerated for the things that we do. I just hate that. I really do. I just, like, why we can't be proud of ourselves, or why you can't be proud for me, instead of acting like, why can't I brag and boast on my accomplishments? Like, what I got to do with your ego? If you want to be able to brag and boast about your accomplishments, then get out here and accomplish something, in my opinion. So we're going to play this video one more time for the ones that are just coming in.
This breaks all sociological order to the culture we're living in now. Because we are raising up women to be men. And you are not applauded for your femininity. You are applauded in the contemporary society by how tough, rough, nasty, mean, aggressive, hateful, possessive you are, and you are climbing the corporate ladder, but we are losing our families. I know you can buy your own car. I know you can buy your own house, but until you create a need that I can pour into, I have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away. Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk back to me this morning.
So now women have to be blamed for the families to be broken. And men don't need to be accountable for that either. So it's the woman's fault. We are the ones that bring the family to the world. We carry the families. The men have to be willing to give us the family. A lot of these men get the family and then don't even want to accept responsibility for the family. Let's talk about the black churches, y'all. Let's be real. In the black churches, the presence of men is not there. There are more women in the black churches than there are men. Let's be real. We are the reason, women are the reason, black women are the reason why there's no black families? How so? We taking care of the black family because we're being left to raise the black family. I'm gone, y'all. I'm out of here. TD Jakes, you done made me mad today. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I never really followed TD Jakes like that. Like when he did that book, was it Men Are for Women, Women Are for Mars, whatever. I'll be honest with you guys. I read that book very little. I didn't read a lot of it. A lot of these evangelists and things that be out here talking, I just really feel like your conversation doesn't fit my situation, so I ain't listening. That's just my opinion. All right. I'm gone. I'm out of here. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like these type of conversations. Again, if you're new to the break room, welcome to the break room. Welcome to the break room buddies, honey, the 2 Live crew. I definitely appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much for stopping what you were doing and meeting me over here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, so what you love. Bye.